Hello, my name is JalBagel. I'm joined by GreenSpeed. Say hi, GreenSpeed.
Hello.
And this is Monster Hunter World Any Percent. Monster Hunter World came out in 2018 for consoles and PC. And ever since then, Green and I have been degeneratively speedrunning this game, like nonstop. So this speedrun is actually in a super cool spot now. It is very consistent. We have some really cool technical strategies to pull off in the game, and it's a really exciting watch to see this game played at a really high level. With that being said, we're gonna jump right into it because there's a lot to talk about throughout the run. I'll talk a little bit about donation incentives. The first one being naming the hunter and the palico, which we've already done with chat here. So we already have names for our hunter and palico, and those can absolutely be raffled off in a marathon setting. The other thing too is a little bonus incentive where we unlock the hog and a frog costume for Poogie, our little pet pig. We'll do that right before Elder Dragons. Someone remind me because I will forget. Right before Elder Dragons, when we get to that point, it's about 2 hours into the game. But this is Monster Hunter World Any Percent. Our estimate for this is 2 hours and 35 minutes real time. The timer below will be an in-game time. So we'll be looking for at least a 2:27 in-game time. But we'll probably do this a lot faster. We'll talk about like how scary some scripts are and like how much potential time loss there is, and you'll kind of notice like, okay, being on the stage and nerves and stuff like that, having this big buffer included is actually going to be really nice. But I don't know, I've been playing really well too, so maybe that won't be the case. All right, yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Green, you want to give me a countdown?
Absolutely. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, and we are off. So, Monster Hunter World is exactly what it sounds like. It is a game about hunting monsters. We take on the role of a hunter in the new world, and we are investigating this creature that stole our boat. This is Zorah Magdaros, and a lot of the story revolves around him. We probably won't talk too much about the story, though, just because... well, that's not the cool thing about this game. The cool thing about this game is it's very performance based, right? Like it's all about very tight, very clean execution to finish these fights as fast as possible. There's what, 22 fights in the game? 22 monsters in any percent?
I know there's either 22 monsters or 22 splits.
Yeah, it's one of those numbers. And every single one but one of them has a very consistent script. Green, can you tell us what a script is?
Yeah, so the big key thing about Monster Hunter is that the monsters have a lot of RNG and AI to them to make the game more interesting. In speedrunning, we don't like RNG, as you probably know. So we're going to be being very careful with what body parts we're hitting to abuse the game's topple mechanics, as well as using like traps, environmental damage, whatever we have available to mitigate as much of that RNG as possible. In almost every fight, the monster is not going to get to move if we do it correctly.
Yeah, that's the big part, is doing it correctly, because a lot of these are I don't want to say they're like frame perfect. Some tricks are, but they're very just like tight execution based things. It's very easy to make mistakes in this run. And you know, whenever you make a mistake here, you might think like, oh, you'll lose like 5-10 seconds. No, you lose like 30. Making mistakes in this game is really rough when the monster goes off script and then you have to ad lib. It's just a lot less predictable, so we have to be more reactive, which means we lose more time because we're waiting, right? Rather than being proactive with our script, we're being reactive with ad lib. This is the handler. The handler is going to help us out with our journey. She's going to provide the quests that we need to do to progress through the story. So you'll see her on occasion. She helps out just by being our emotional support person. But she's cool. I really like the handler. She's always a fun time. But this is Monster Hunter Worlds. This is 5th generation Monster Hunter. You may have seen Monster Hunter Wilds. This is the predecessor to it, and still an absolutely gorgeous looking game. I'm always floored with just how good this game still looks. Absolutely stunning. This is the Ancient Forest. This is kind of like a tutorial section. We just jumped off of the back of Zorah Magdaros after we wrecked our boat, and we're trying to make it to that boat that's up in the sky over there. Why is it in the sky? Don't ask questions. But we're trying to get over there, and we have this little tutorial section where the handler is going to teach us about some new mechanics in the game, like stealth. Funnily enough, casually, a lot of people don't really end up using stealth because stealth mechanics, they're like slow. There's no like real huge benefit to them. It doesn't really like do too much in the game casually, but in the speedrun, we actually have a couple of scripts that we use stealth AI and stealth mechanics to take advantage of the monster's movement. So that's going to be coming up here in a second, but we're just hiding in this bush to hide from these little banana lizards. They're called Jagras. And I have a little moment here to set up some settings. Green, you want to talk about what some of those are?
Yeah, so most of these are actually just preference, but we're waiting so long we can set them up anyway. The one important one is turning off autosave. It just saves for Bagel's computer about 1.5 seconds after every quest because he doesn't have to wait for the game to save. And then another kind of important one is turning off scout flight camera tracking, because if you ever played this game on release, you know the joys of getting your neck snapped because the scout flies saw something directly behind you.
All right, so now we're kind of lining up on this little shadow on the ground and waiting for the handler here. This is about as far away from the handler that we can be while still being close enough to trigger this this flag. A lot of this game, when we are waiting, we're trying to wait in optimal ways, or we're trying to skip the waiting. All right, there we go. Perfect. So we kind of like position ourselves in like weird ways just to kind of like progress, you know, these sequences real fast. Everyone say hi to Matt Mercer, also known as Field Team Leader, or FTL as we'll call him. He is voiced by Matt Mercer in the English, so we always just call him Mercer. FTL is a cool character, though. He was born here. He was born here in the New World. We're the fun little fact about the story. Like I said, we won't talk about it too much. But we are the 5th expedition group, also known as the 5th fleet, coming to the New World. So there's just already like this camp here, and there's already hunters and explorers here. And we are coming to assist them and investigate a mystery. Yo, Blood Guy, thank you so much for the 26. Thank you so much, Blood Guy. All right, so now we are in Astera. This is our main hub to the game. Monster Hunter is a hub-based adventure game. It's not open world, even though the maps are still kind of like feel that way, right? But we will always come back to a hub to prepare for a hunt before going out into a locale to complete a quest or to complete a hunt, right? So this is going to be our main hub that we're going to use for the first third of the speedrun, because we'll unlock a secondary hub later that is just so much faster. It's all the same kind of facilities, but in just a lot smaller of an area. Oh, let's talk about weapons because we're about to pick one. Oh, actually, no, let's talk about Mercer Skip because we're about to do it. Funny little thing here. Every now and then when we're in these scripted sequences, you'll see that like we're stuck with walking, right? Like I was running earlier, but now I'm too close to Matt Mercer to FTL behind me. So we're stuck in this like little walking radius. But we're going to break out of this and save a couple of seconds. It's a cute little trick. It's a fun little thing to do. It's like super fun to try to like learn because it does feel like you're you know, breaking the rules. But we're going to try to squeeze past that walking radius here in a second. So we're going to walk away from FTL so we can start running again. Then once we're able to run, we're going to cut back towards him along the edge of this like hallway and get past him as far like as close to this wall as possible, and that actually saves like 10 seconds. It's actually nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about weapons. Green, can you talk about weapons?
Yeah, so for the majority of this run, we are actually going to be using the quote-unquote beginner weapon, Sword and Shield. This weapon, about halfway through Iceborne, got a patch that just made it busted. It notably has a combo called Perfect Rush. The first half of that combo has the same damage as one of Greatsword's strongest attacks. And then the last hit of that combo has, I believe, the highest part break modifier in the game, which makes hitting thresholds for CC for our scripting infinitely easier. So we're going to be primarily using Sword and Shield, SNS, and then for a couple fights early on and at the end, we are going to be using a weapon called Switch Axe. just because it makes those few fights a lot easier than with SNS. SNS also saving us a couple seconds here because it's the default equipped weapon.
Yeah, and so now we're just kind of like going through just a couple more like talking sections where we're going to have our first quest of the game. This is going to be a small monster quest, Jagras of the Ancient Forest. So we actually get to take advantage of some like cute little monster AI here, where, you know, we're going to take advantage of like how the game operates. And it's kind of like the first little examples of how we use the AI to our advantage instead of against ourselves, right? Pretty much, though, we're going to try to slay some of these Jagras. We have to slay 7 of them in total. And the area that we're going to be going to, there are 6 outside the cave and a bunch inside. So that's not quite 7 outside of the cave. So we're going to have to go into the cave to slay at least 1 more. But while we do that, we get to, like, set up some things to take advantage of the monster's AI. I'm going to let Green talk about that a little bit while I walk in an optimal line here so he doesn't cry.
Yeah, so the way this game is coded, despite the fact that there are 6 Jagras outside the cave, which would be great for us, the moment you kill 2 of them, the rest try to run away from you into the cave. But this game has a cool little thing on Bagel's left arm you can see there called the Slinger, which lets us pick up ammo from around the environment and use it. We're going to pick up a torch pod, which is going to let us put a little campfire on the ground that'll deal damage. We're going to block off the mouth to the cave with that torch pod, so when the rest of the Jagras try to run away, they'll get stuck on that fire and die. So ideally we kill 3 here, but we only need to kill 2. Beautiful. Now blocking off the mouth of the cave with the torch pods. And keep an eye on the top right of your screen. Getting the last kill we need inside the cave.
Or just all of them.
And then, yeah, or all of them. And then in the back, you saw that 1 Jagras die on the campfire to get the last one. Now we're in an end timer of a quest. This is one of the key parts of routing items in this game. Unlike in the newest game, Monster Hunter Wilds, you cannot skip the quest end timer. So since we have this waiting time anyway, we're going to be doing a lot of gathering, notably to allow us to capture monsters later. This game has 2 ways to end a quest for most monsters, slaying it or capturing it. Slaying a monster is what you'd expect. You reduce its health to 0, it falls over, you can carve it. The game gives you a 60-second end timer. However, using a trap and trank bombs, you can capture a monster as long as its health is below 30%. That not only saves us the 30% extra health we don't have to go through, it also gives us a shorter 20-second end timer because you can't carve a captured monster. So every monster we capture, which is every monster that is possible to be captured in this game, we're saving 40 seconds from the end timer and usually 30 to 40 seconds from that last bit of health.
Yeah, this is the only quest that we'll see that has a 60-second end timer.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about. So we probably won't we'll probably gloss over a lot of the item routing. But we are grabbing. We now have like all of the materials that we need to start capturing monsters. Sans 1 item, either a net or a thunderbug to make a pitfall trap or a shock trap. We'll talk about the differences between those here in a little bit, but I wanted Green to talk about defender weapons first.
Yes. So, when the Iceborne expansion for this game was released, Capcom wanted new players to be able to get to that expansion and play the new content quickly if they wanted to. So they added the defender weapons. These are far and away the strongest weapons in base game Monster Hunter World. We are in low rank right now. We're going to be capping out at high rank in this run. These weapons are equivalent to early master rank weapons, which is the whole next expansion. So these are what enable us to super consistently script this game. They're just so powerful. And they save like an hour over not using them.
Yeah, especially in high rank. And just to also put this into perspective for you too, the Defender 5, the final upgrade, Sword and Shield, that we will get in this run is the same weapon that I use to beat Fatalis from a new file. The Fatalis % speed run. That's the same weapon that I use to fight Fatalis. So that weapon can beat the strongest monster in this game.
Yeah. So now we're on our other weapon for this run, the Switch Axe. It's a gauge-based weapon. It honestly doesn't come into effect too often here. We just need to start every fight by leveling up the gauge up in the top left. It's very powerful on this small monster quest specifically because it has a unique mechanic where the more hitboxes it passes through, the more damage it does. But the
up to
real
3.
reason we're using this up to 3.
Yeah. When you have a charged file, you get what's called a file, you get file damage. And so it'll always deal at least 1 file and then up to 3 for each model that it passes through. And then because of that, the defender weapons have blast ailment on them, and every single time the weapon deals damage is another time that the weapon can deal a blast explosion, which will do the entirety of these Kestadon's health pool.
Yep.
Okay.
Next
yeah, you get to talk about your pride and joy here.
Yeah. This next monster is where you'll get to see the real reason we use Switch Axe. It lets us attach to monsters to just deal consistent damage to them. And this hunt in specific is a very interesting one because we are on a cycle here. So we can use that fact to collect some items we need along the way, such as parashrooms for more trank bombs, and importantly, what Bagel mentioned earlier, some ivy to get that net, which is the last thing we need to capture this monster. For a very long time, we actually thought it was not reasonable to capture Great Jagras here, but after like 2 weeks of routing, we finally came up with a way to do it. Saves about 30 seconds. Very cool script.
You'll see if I can do it right. I got the good jump, so now I just have to do it correctly.
We're gonna shoot this rock to drop it on him. We use both trank bombs in advance and place down this pitfall trap. This rock is what's called an environmental trap, and it actually has the highest CC priority in the game. So even though Great Jagras is directly on top of this trap, it won't fall in until it's done with the rock topple, which lets us get all this damage in and then start damaging it while it's already in the trap. And get down to that 30% health while it's still in the trap in trank, so it captures it instantly. And that's going to be how we want to end most scripts. We're actually going to be putting the trap and tranks down before the monster is below 30% health and getting that last little bit of damage in while it's in the trap. Just so we're not wasting any extra damage when we don't have to.
To talk about it a little bit here too, every quest gives us random rewards at the end of them, and some of those rewards are impactful to us. Fortunately, I just gathered the reward that I needed off of this quest, which is an ancient bone. Just need 1 of them, and that is a very low it's a very high chance to get it, so it's like a really low priority of a point of RNG. Whoop, I ran directly past her. It's impressive. But we got our ancient bone, our green bone, to make sure that we can craft our only piece of armor that we're going to craft the entire game. Because we didn't talk about it, we're also using the Guardian armor, which is in the same vein as the defender weapons, an armor set that's kind of geared towards high rank, that allows players to kind of forego the necessity to grind and make armor sets. A lot of opinions about these this equipment in the games, but what's really nice about them is that they make this speedrun consistent, which is really nice. And what's really funny too about this speedrun is so we call these kind of items add-ons. They were added on to the game after the game's release. So that's the defender weapons, the guardian armor, an item called the Fairwind Charm, which is actually a pre-order bonus, and then an item pack called the early weapon upgrade pack. It includes all of those things. So the really funny thing though is that any percent without add-ons, which is a category, is also very doable. can maintain the same or very similar pace to any percent up to the second Zorah Magdaros fight. It's about an hour and a half into the run. It'll maintain about the same pace with perfect RNG. Getting that RNG is like a 20% chance. Like I've gotten it literally a single time in a run. But in any percent with add-ons, we can just guarantee that we're going to always have that like ability. And so the RNG is a lot more forgiving in a category like this when we get to use the guaranteed equipment being the Guardian Armor and Defender weapons. All right. Who likes fried chicken? We're gonna fight Kulu-ya-ku, everybody's favorite kleptomaniac. Kulu-ya-ku is a really cool fight because he has some of the coolest AI in the game. If you shoot a flash at him, he stands perfectly still. Isn't that awesome? Every monster should do that. That would be incredible.
My favorite thing.
My favorite thing. I'm just gonna do this. Ooh, we got a weird
here. Ooh.
Weird angle. We're good though.
Yeah. Here we're gonna see our first instance of a claw stagger or a clagger. We don't really take advantage of it on Kulu specifically, but on later monsters this is going to be our main form of CC, because as you can see, if you clutch claw on, we didn't get it there, but if you clutch claw on during a stagger, it actually extends it, which gives us 6 total seconds of time to hit the monster while it's in that extension. So that's going to be a very big deal for us later down the road. This is going to be the main form of CC on almost every fight.
This is a unique quest. We call it an assigned expedition. It's an expedition that has static RNG. We didn't really talk about expeditions, so it's a really small point of the game. But expeditions are like little, random adventures that you can go on. But the assigned ones are always the same. I'm going to be quiet here for a second. Just some quick menuing there. We're stocking up on some items, just more of our trap tools. We've added them to our item box, so now we can restock those from an item box. And we also grabbed some bombs, which are going to help accelerate some scripts later on. But yeah, the expeditions are supposed to be random, but our assigned expeditions, the ones that we are required to do, have static RNG, which is really nice. So we can finish them like pretty quick. But because of that too, they don't have an end quest timer. So the second that we're done with the objective, we can just leave instantly.
Now we are going into one of the biggest RNG points in the run. This quest goes very, very quickly, about 2/3 of the time, and then the other roughly 1/3 of the time, an extra monster can show up that loses like a absolute minimum of 15 seconds to get rid of if you get perfect RNG and perfect execution. Usually it's closer to 20 to 30. We're going to manipulate some AI here, dropping this pod to lure this Pukei-Pukei, this green bird over here. We got the good RNG. Flinch it, so we have an opening to claw on, and this is another big form of CC in the game. You can clutch onto a monster, turn it, and then unload all of your slinger ammo at once to knock it into a wall and get this topple. We call it a wall bang. This is another huge part of Switch Axe. When ZSDing, this move that you're latched onto the head for, you have immunity to most roars in this run. There you saw that little flinch when he grabbed the Clagger here. That's what I was talking about earlier, the extension. And you may have missed it, but...
oh, whoops.
Yeah, but he
knew that.
threw one trank bomb during the wall bang, so he can actually just place his second one and the trap now and get that last little bit of damage in. Beautiful. And then no gathering here, just using this end timer to set up some inventory management for later.
Okay, that's might be a problem for me. I just gotta set that up really quick. I fat fingered. Yeah, that setting up that item menu is a little rough sometimes. We did not get the backup sack. Uh-oh. So we got to make sure we get so that's another point of RNG, is the Pukei-Pukei sack. We like to get the low rank one as a backup, but we need the high rank one. I'm just gonna do this really. Oh, that stops you from moving. Well, we're committed. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
I do need to be able to craft these on this quest, or I overflow items. What am I doing? I'm trying to get myself off of PB pace. That's actually we're trying to get into the red. That's what we're trying to do. So I feel less pressure to perform well here. So this is the best kind of quest. That's the name of this quest. The name of this quest is the best kind of quest. And for speedrunners, Green, what is the best kind of quest to speedrun?
Auto-scroller.
Yippee! Yeah, so we have an auto-scroller here, and this one's actually kind of unique. It's not like exactly an auto-scroller where we can't do anything. We're actually going to gather like 50% of the materials that we use on the entire run here. It's really, really cool. We get to, because this quest is so long, we get to take advantage of the respawn timers for the materials that spawn in the area. We're gonna do all of this gathering that you're watching me do right now twice. That's how long this quest is. It is entirely scripted out. That cart that you saw earlier that the handler and some researchers were pushing, it's moving through the environment very, very slowly, and we have a couple of locations that we have to be at as like little flags for them to progress. So the idea is we're going to do all of this gathering before they get to that location, that flag, and then we're going to be on top of that flag by the time that they get there. We're going to do that 3 times before we're even able to fight the monster.
Yeah, the third one triggers the fight.
Yep. So we picked up a very important item just then. That is a might seed. Green, how do might seeds, like what do might seeds do? Like how do those work?
Yeah, they give you a static buff to your raw attack power for 3 minutes. And fun fact, all but the last 5 fights of this game only last less than 3 minutes. So this is just a flat damage boost for every fight in the game. And I believe, especially early game, I think it's like a 5 or 10% damage boost. Because it is a flat value, but we have such a low attack right now, it actually makes a huge difference early on.
Yeah, like a significant increase.
Yeah, and then even more important, we are gathering enough might seeds that we can also craft them into demon powder. Casually, the big thing about demon powder is that it's just a might seed for you, and it also buffs your teammates. We don't have teammates. We're going to be leaving the cap behind soon so that monster AI is more consistent. But the important thing about Demon Powder is that it stacks with a Might Seed. So instead of getting plus 10 raw just from the Might Seed, on a lot of these fights, we're going to be using a Might Seed and a Demon Powder for plus 20 raw, which is massive.
So yeah, we're just going to be using that to stack up this this raw damage value so we can do even more damage. Which also is required to keep some scripts. All right, so we're coming up to our first little check here. We just got to be right here with the cart to take in this glorious view. Look how pretty this is. This is the Wildspire Waste. We didn't really talk about that. This is the Wildspire Waste. It's a cool area. And then we have our next flag coming up real quick, but we're going to do some item management and then a goofy little thing with our frame rate. Green, can you explain the frame rate thing? Because it doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, it doesn't make sense to me either. But for whatever reason, there is a very short cutscene here that the cutscene itself takes the same amount of time regardless of your frame rate. But for whatever reason, the cart keeps moving during this cutscene, and the lower your frame rate, the faster the cart moves. So dropping your FPS to 30 here actually saves 8 seconds over 60 FPS and 11 seconds over 144 FPS, which is what Bagel's playing on. So this is actually like one of the biggest recent time saves in the game.
And it's so silly.
Yeah. And thankfully we only need the FPS low for that one cutscene, so as soon as he lands here, you can put it back up and not have to deal with menuing at 30 FPS.
Because it's awful.
Now, since we're on this auto-scroller anyway, we're going to manage our items and restock here, so we don't have to waste time doing it in town later. And move our trap tools to the front of the box, because that's really the only item we're going to consistently be restocking, so we just want it as quick access as possible for us.
Some para knives.
Paralysis knives there.
Yep. Go ahead.
Those are going to be very important for the script later on. It's basically going to put the monster in a shock trap without actually putting it in a shock trap, so we can still use our shock trap to capture it. But it's a very long form of CC.
Yeah, there's a couple of statuses in the game. Our weapon has one of them, which is Blast. There's also Paralysis and Sleep. Sleep, not too useful to us. It is actually useful in the no add-ons run, because you keep your cat. Well, you used to keep your cat with you, and you could give them a sleep weapon, and every now and then you'd get like a little sleep on the monster, which was pretty funny. And paralysis is used is used a lot on the Palico casually, because then just occasionally you get a random paralysis. But for us, we're not keeping the cat, right? I just talked to the cat and said, hey, you can stay behind. We don't need your help anymore. And the biggest reason for that is the cat will like to pull the monster's aggro, pulls the monster's AI. Monster's AI usually switches between all of the applicable targets during a hunt. So if there's 2 targets, half the time it's not fighting us. And if there's more, even more of the time it's not fighting us. So ideally, it's just us that they're fighting, and it makes, reacting and starting these scripts and these openers a lot more consistent.
And even in this earlier game part where the scripts are honestly consistent enough that we could probably keep the cat with no issue, the cat can pick up items, which adds an extra dialogue box at the end of quests. And there's no fight where having the cat actually speeds it up. So there's really no reason not to leave it behind.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of really, so this game is made up of a ton of like really, really small optimizations. We probably aren't talking about a lot of them, but we've been talking about making a tutorial for the speedrun for a very long time. And every time that we sit down and we start thinking about, okay, what do we need to discuss here? It's like, okay, well, we should probably talk about this. It's like a half-second time save, but like it's super free and it's relevant, so we should talk about it, right? And it's like, but it's a half-second time save. Do we need to? But a lot of what we do is very small optimizations that add up into a very, very fast speedrun. I'll let you talk about this, Green.
Yeah, I'm going to shut up until after you do the Slinger Burst.
Oh, fair.
So at the start of this fight, we took advantage of the fact that this is the one cutscene in the game whose trigger is not entirely based on us. It's based on both us and the cards. We were actually able to place down that pitfall in the exact spot this Barroth would spawn, so we could start the fight with it in there. And then you saw as soon as the pitfall ended, use those paralysis knives to get that paralysis, let us get in a bit more damage. And now, going a bit off script here, just because that first perfect rush in that paralysis is very difficult. But this first red pod is kind of our backup to know, okay, our damage is good enough. We can pre-trap now.
Thank goodness, Blast proc. Yeah, that was a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. That Slinger Burst is actually really hard to the position for it correctly. When I dodged to the left, I already knew that I kind of messed that up, so I had to like refine my position for it. And it's something that I mess up often because I don't practice this quest enough, because it's very difficult to practice an 8-minute long quest that 6 minutes of it is an auto-scroller.
Yep.
But that's okay. A little bit of RNG moment here. Did we get good luck?
Yep.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
So we got 3. We got to always look at these like these rewards really quickly, but we got 3 Thunderbug there, which actually is a time save. So it means it's 3 less Thunderbug that we have to gather, which is super cool.
Yep, your Thunderbugs in rewards are always going to be in sets of 3. Your first set of 3 saves 7 seconds, and then you only need 1 more extra before they stop making a difference. So your next set of 3 only saves you 2, but 9 seconds from material RNG is still a very nice thing to have.
All right, Jyuratodus, aka Stinky Fish. This fight goes by very, very quickly if you do it right, and goes by very, very slowly if bad things happen.
This is one of the, thankfully it is pretty rare, but this is one of the few like RNG openers. He does have one attack he can do that will just break the opener, the script wide open. But hopefully that won't happen here. And that is the one attack.
So I am entirely off script now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my best to get this back. Yeah, right. Okay. This is really bad, by the way. I'm gonna get a de-aggro here. Yeah. Huh? How'd you get up there, bud? You know what? I'm just gonna let him transition. This is actually, like, really bad. This is actually, like, the worst thing that could possibly happen here. Is losing the script and then getting a forced transition because of it, too. So I'm just going to do my gathering now. He is going in the worst area possible. It's all water here, and we can't place traps in water. Man, I really wanted a good marathon showing, so yeah, this is great for that. Just roll that. I'm gonna go for one more KO, and then we're gonna capture him. Ow. Oh, I can't even capture him over here. Come over here. Why do you clagger a million miles away? Whoa, where are you going now? No, that would have been perfect! Oh my gosh.
No.
Okay. Hey, Green, I have a... Well, no, we're... Oh god, I'm 2 minutes down? Green, I have a recommendation.
Marathon. This is perfect.
No, this is awful. Are you kidding me? Stop running away! Oh my gosh. It's gonna keep going. It's never gonna stop. It's gonna keep going all the way into this area. It's never gonna stop. This is so bad. I already tranked it too, so like the trank is already worn off. Oh my gosh, it didn't.
What?
This is awful. This is so bad. Oh man. All right. Well, Green's telling me I have to keep this going, so we're gonna keep this going. That's real bad though. This is what I was talking about, right? Like something can go wrong and you can just lose a ton of time because of it. And the thing that went wrong there was entirely out of my control. 100% out of my control. So nothing I can do about that. So we're just going to try and do better things. We're just going to try and get better RNG and not lose any more time. We're just going to go fast. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Yes, no, it was an instant dig. And there's nothing you can do about instant dig. So here, next is Tobi-Kadachi, probably one of the harder scripts in the low rank section. This is all timing and positioning based and is very easy to mess up. But the great thing about this quest is that it doesn't actually like lose a lot of time if you mess it up, just like isn't as optimal. So we should be okay here. Unlike Jyuratodus, because you can't put the trap down anywhere. That's like the big problem about that quest and why it can lose so much time. You can't place traps in water. So if he's in the water, you don't get to put a trap down. Like that's not good. And probably the reason why he was able to get away from me there too. It's because I couldn't put that trap down. But Tobi's a cool fight. I actually do really like this fight. I like doing it fast. It's just hard to do fast. But we get to talk about a cool little strategy at the opener of this. Hugster Trap.
We don't do Hugster Trap anymore.
Okay, but like, Hugster Trap is the reason why we found this. Because you weren't doing this...
Moss Cook from a very long time ago.
Oh, was it really? Okay, I still like...
this before Hugster.
I still like talking about Hugster Trap.
That's true.
Because like for a really long time, we didn't really know how to like do the opening to this quest. So even like with off weapons, like not SNS, what we were doing was we were placing a trap at the edge of this ledge right here that I'm about to climb up. We're placing like a trap right here and luring the monster into it. But then Hugster found like this really cool trap location that we can use. But now we just do this instead because we're using SNS and cheating.
Yeah, so Sword and Shield is the one weapon in the game that can use items with your weapon drawn. And we actually take advantage of that because at the start of cutscenes, your character is kind of frozen in this, oh my god, a monster state, where you can't do anything. However, guarding with your weapon is one of the few things that can cancel that state. And guarding with your weapon also happens to be a way to instantly use an item with Sword and Shield. So that lets us just instantly put that trap down.
No jump, good.
First use of stealth here is both lets us avoid grabbing that Clagger, which is a bit slow, and
Tomberry.
Manipulate his AI a bit to get this trap down more consistently. Beautiful.
Small optimization there for post-quest gathering. Jumping off that ledge and taking the spent ghillie mantle off while in the air means you don't have to take it off and walk slowly on the ground. Just a cool little optimization. And then can I make this flash? Ah! Got it. Gaming. Uh-oh. Oh. It's fine. It's fine. It was just a small hiccup. We're okay. 137 is a very good time on that. I'll take that. Other than picking up that bomb berry. Don't worry about it. So we're coming up to the last quest of the first partial any % category. So this speed run is like 2.5 hours long, right? We talked about it. Traditionally, this run used to be a lot longer because we didn't have the tools or the resources or even the equipment to just make this game go a lot faster. So when this game first came out, this run was like 4 hours long. So to help mitigate with doing really, really long speedruns, we made partial any % categories. And we're coming up to that first partial any % category, Zorah Magdaros 1. Zorah 1, also known as one for the history books. Not quite there yet, though. We still got this last quest to do first, which is a very cool script. I'm just going to shut up and do it.
Immediately starting with a flash, and this monster, Anjanath specifically, has a very long flash animation that lets us get this trap down consistently. Now we can fit 3 partial PRs in during this trap. This gets us a lot of normal and blunt damage, which is important because it lets us get a KO. Nice, there's our first Clagger. And now this is the first instance of a claw uppercut and a tenderize. So we'll explain that after.
Thanks, Kestadon. Okay, good. I didn't get roared there.
Yeah, but here's our KO. Now I'm going to grab this bomb pod that the monster dropped. Use that for some extra damage. And now we're going to use stealth again to lure it under this same rock we dropped on Great Jagras earlier. During this topple, we can fit both our Tranks in before we do our 2 PRs. And that first pot on the ground means we can just pick it up and place our shock trap down, and then slinger burst these 3 bomb pods into it. And or
nice.
One, and that's the quest.
Nice, nice, nice.
Very cool hunt. This is an interesting script because it's definitely not close to the hardest in the game, but it is one of the most punishing if you mess it up.
Yeah, Anjanath also has some really tight AI here too. After he's only been here for like 40 seconds, he wants to leave. He does not stay here very long. Make sure we take these materials. Defender weapons can be upgraded. We have our Defender Weapon 1 right now, which is very, very good, but it could be better. And what's really cool about this game and how they designed Defender weapons, the assigned missions drop the materials that you need, guaranteed. So for the very first, for our first weapon here, our first upgrade, we need 1 Anjanath scale. Ideally, we get 2 because we're going to be swapping between 2 weapons. But we just need 1 to like do the run to save time. And we're always guaranteed 1. So that's a really nice thing about this game is that you can upgrade and downgrade weapons. And if you downgrade them, you get the materials back that you used. So you can like swap around between different weapons because a lot of the trees use the same materials, which is kind of cool. But it's just nice too because we are always guaranteed to be able to upgrade our defender weapons. And so it, like I said earlier, yes, they're the strongest weapons in the game, but they also just make for the most consistent speedrun as well, which is really, really neat. So instead of us focusing on like, oh, do we get good RNG? We actually just get to focus on like, oh, did we play perfectly? Also, yeah, that was a 1 second gold, 0.9 second gold, which is super cool. Saved 11 seconds there. It feels good. All right, so this is our first Zorah Magdaros quest, Zorah Magdaros 1, or Zorah 1. This quest is called One for the History Books, and like I said, is the ending quest to our first partial 80% category, History Books. So Zorah Magdaros quests, we will see 2 of them. They come in pairs, like there's 2 phases to them. I shouldn't say they come in pairs, but there's 2 phases of them. There's a first phase and a second phase. Zorah Magdaros' first phase here is a siege where we're shooting like cannons and ballistas and stuff at him, and some things have to happen. We're trying to do this as fast as possible, so we have to hit some flags to make sure that this quest can end. The first one is shooting that ballista binder. If you know anything about this game, you know that that stops the monster from moving, which seems kind of like antithesis to what we are trying to do here, which is go fast. But if we don't shoot it, the NPCs do, and for some reason, the one that the NPCs shoot lasts like 3 times as long for some reason. So we just shoot our own, and the further away he is from the barrier, the shorter duration it has, which is actually kind of neat. So the other things that we have to do here, a lot of phase 1 for Zorah 1 is animation canceling. So we're going to spend a lot of time just setting up animation cancels. We're getting rid of those birds because they like to hit us off of the cannons and off of the ballista and stuff. And we're just now waiting for Zorah, so I'm going to take this time to do some inventory management, crafting some stuff, and just kind of like getting myself set up. We no longer need that gunpowder. We can set that up, and then I'm going to set up a little backup to the radial menu here in a second. Catalyst, Mega Potion, Signal, Might Seed, all that's done. And then just a little backup option here. Shock Trap craftable in the headquarters. All right, so Zorah Magdaros, like I said, has some flags to finish this quest. Those flags are specific attacks. So for him to transition out of phase 1, he has to do very specific attacks. This first one's a hand slam, where he's gonna like slap one of these cannons. We're actually just gonna flinch him out of that animation when it starts. So we're gonna use the cannon here. The 4th shot to the cannon causes a stagger, and it's gonna stagger him out of that animation to do that attack. So the flag was still met to like say like, okay, Zorah Magdaros did that attack, you can move on to the next one, but the animation never happened, so it just speeds up, you know, this quest completing. We're waiting for him to get to the next the next cannon here, the next attack that he's going to do. So in that meantime, I'm going to shoot these wing drakes here, and I like to play a little game of how many can I get. There are 5 total, and we have 10 shots. It takes 2 shots to kill one of them. So we're going to try and just do a little duck hunt here. Oh, that was almost the best I've done. I almost had them all. We are in a little bit of a timer there, though. We need to make sure that we get the ghillie mantle on, pick up more ballista, and come over here to cancel this next shot, which it looks like I'm going to be a little late for. We can just go ahead and shoot this now. Actually, that was like really good timing. But he was about to do like a little lava ball attack. We're just canceling him out of that. And now we're going to do a little bit of a chest flinch here. That progresses his AI another step. And then one more chest flinch. We're just looking out for these birds to make sure we don't get, oh, hello, beat up here, because we have one more flinch to do. And this one's really important. It saves 25 seconds. And we did it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 shots into the chest. I have to do 5 more. Next, we're queuing up a stagger. So like we were talking about earlier, scripting monsters, Zorah Magdaros can be scripted too. He has a flinching threshold where just dealing a specific amount of damage to him will cause him to flinch. For this next flinch, it takes 13 ballista shots. So we're going to sink 12 into him and then wait for the 13th to skip a roar. And that's going to save 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and then now we wait. And so what's really cool is that Zorah Magdaros is so big, and this game, you know, was made in 2018. So there's like some jankiness in how the animations get like overlapped here, but you can watch him and you'll see him like stop entirely for about a half a second and then start moving again right there. And that's how you know the next animation started. It's kind of nice. It gives us like a nice, very visible cue to shoot that, so we aren't kind of like guessing when we can or having to like set up another cue. And that's it. That's fast Zorah. So something that like a lot of people don't really realize with this quest is that you don't actually have to fight Zorah Magdaros. We just do that.
Yeah, the actual HP threshold for him to finish the quest is like 2 cannons worth of damage. It's not a lot. And now we're on to the fun part of the game, which is Zorah turning into an auto-scroller. So we're just going to use this time to do basically all of the inventory management we need for the run. Do you remember the backup for this?
Yeah, I turn Megas on and turn Megas off and Mega Nutrients on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed. I didn't get enough honey, unfortunately, but there is a little bit of a backup. We just got to make sure that we bring both of these with us. We need this. We need this. We need that. And all I need to do is put away this and get out of here. We don't need you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a flash bug. Yep, this is perfect. Yeah, because I should have 1 extra right now. Yep, all right, this is good. I'm just counting my inventory and making sure, because there will be a quest that we overcap, or we have the possibility of overcapping on our inventory space, and it's really bad if we do. So just making sure I count my inventory slots there to make sure that we are set up appropriately to not overcap. 5 Anjanath scales here is good. And then we need to make sure we have, what, 3,600, 3,800?
Like 30,000 is totally fine. You need 36,000 by the time you get to Zorah 2. So, like, as long as you have, like, 30,000 here, you're completely fine.
Yeah, just selling some stuff because we do need some money later. And we're waiting for Zorah Magdaros here anyways. Not much to do right now. So, the really funny thing is, like, yeah, like Green was saying... Oh, I do need that. Like Green was saying, we have already dealt enough damage for this quest to end. We have done all the things to get out of phase 1. We have dealt the damage to get out of phase 2. So now we're just waiting for the quest to end. But if you ever played this quest, you remember running around and fighting the magma cores. And the magma cores are a trap. Because, 1, you don't need to damage them. You don't need to attack them. And doing so is slower. Every time a magma core breaks, Zorah Magdaros flinches and stops moving. And that's a big bad thing because, well, it's slow. Not moving is slower than moving. And so we want to make sure that Zorah Magdaros is constantly moving here so we don't interact with them at all. Instead, we're just going to stand on Zorah's back here and manage our inventory because we can. We got nothing else really to do right now. And so this is a good moment to just kind of get ourselves set up. and making my inventory look like, you know, how I want to do a speedrun with it, right? And I'm kind of like, I've already gone through and figured out like where I like things, so I can activate them quickly, because you'll notice between some scripts we have to use items very, very quickly between, like, you know, one and the other. So you'll kind of see that my decisions here are just so I have like ease of access, but they also kind of like make sense organizationally to me too. Our nutrients here are going to be used later to make max potions. So we are getting these for the last 5 quests of the game. We want at least 3 of them just for comfort. We used to get like 5, so we had 1 on each, and then we just got better at the game. So now we've shaved this down to 3. There are more that we could get more of these during the game, but honestly, this is all we really need, is just these 3. Because ideally, yeah, I mean, like, ideally we don't use them at all.
Yeah, although there are 2 fights in the end of the game that honestly 3 is like the minimum where you're still saving time, because there are 2 fights where you are guaranteed to need to heal at some point.
Wait, 2?
Vaal and Xeno.
Oh, I guess, yeah, if you say like Xeno because the cat heals us too.
Yeah.
I mean, unless, I don't know, or you just play perfectly and then never get Fireground, and then, you know, and you never lose health. Just play perfectly and you never need them. No, but healing is optional, but the max potions, you know, they don't take time to consume. They happen instantly, so they're actually like the best option for us, like for speedrunning, because they heal us back, increase our max health, and also activate instantly, so it gets us right back into the fight. So yeah, I wasn't joking when I said we were just gonna sit here and wait. Unfortunately, this is about the only big piece of downtime in the run, where we do just have to sit here and wait. We can always fill this space. I love yapping, I love talking, and we can always fill this space. We've also had an idea of doing like a Monster Hunter trivia thing here, but yeah, just a little bit of downtime. It's actually really nice as far as the speedrun goes too, because it's enough time to like get up, go use the restroom, grab a snack, and come and sit back down. And in a run like this, like after this, we're constantly doing things, so it's like almost the halfway point, which is really nice. So you just get like a nice little break, and then you jump right back into it. I always think this is a nice little, you know, reprieve from playing the game. I don't mind it.
Also, Monster Hunter has a very big community, so it is entirely possible there's enough donations to fill the 6 minutes we're waiting here.
Oh yeah, no, hands down. Yeah, this is unfortunately just the only part of downtime. I like to take a selfie with chat here, or with the audience, right? We've done that a couple of times at marathons. We just take a selfie with chat. But yeah, it's just a small part of it. Everything else is high octane with this run. Like immediately after this, we go through the fastest section of the game, which is called Colossal Task, our next partial 90% category, which is literally just 8 fights back to back to back to back. It's like 8 of the, I don't want to say they're the hardest, but they're definitely of higher like execution. Like they require some perfect gameplay. 8, 6, 8.
8, yeah.
Yeah.
Counting Zorah 2.
Yeah, 8 counting Zorah? 8 counting Zorah 2.
Yeah. You got
even Zorah 2 is actually
Apexes.
Right. Yeah, even Zorah 2.
I can't count.
Yeah, it is 7. Okay, so it's 6. Yeah, 4 and then 2. Yeah. It is 6. But yeah, even Zorah 2, even the next time that we fight Zorah Magdaros, we don't get to stand around and like wait. So I'm setting up here for something called Nergigante Quick Kill. You'll know what that means here in a second, but this is a quick kill setup. I'm going to use the Ghillie Mantle so we can take advantage of stealth AI, and I have some large barrel bombs here that I want to put down right here. This is precise positioning. Next, I'm going to use the stone that I picked up earlier and some Slinger Burst to end this quest as fast as possible. Oh, okay, that's unfortunate. That was frame perfect. no, I did Hunter Notes. Oh, well. I was trying to dance there at the very end. Oh, well. That's it. That's Nergigante quick kill. Just quick bombs, 2 slinger bursts, ends the quest. He has a health threshold that we have to reach, and yeah, we're trying to do that as fast as possible to end the quest. But that is the first partial any percent category, one for the history books. So this moves on to the next partial any percent category, a colossal task, which ends with Zorah 2. But there is a lot in between there and now, and we are also going for the end of the game. I just like to point out that there are partial categories for this game, because some people, like, you know, they look at Monster and they go, wow, it's a really long speed run. Well, there's options for a shorter category too. History books is where I started, right? I was speedrunning this game before Iceborne came out, and I started speedrunning with history books, doing runs up to Zorah 1. They took about an hour and like 15, hour and 25 or something like that. And now we have it under an hour. All right, so story-wise, we're in the Great Ravine, which we will only ever be here a single time. The Great Ravine is a location where Zorah Magdaros burrowed back underground, and we lost track of it. The reason why we're so interested in Zorah Magdaros is it is undergoing an event that we call the Elder Crossing, where Zorah Magdaros crosses an entire ocean to come here to the New World to do something, and we're still investigating what that something is. But he is burrowed back underground. The New World has this like really weird underground like tunnel system that we never see, but we know is there. And Zorah Magdaros just kind of like digs back underground and hangs out in there and travels around, and we have to find him again. So the Great Ravine is kind of like this transitional area between where we've been and where we are going to, which is really weird to say. But the reason I say that is because we are now going to the Coral Highlands and our new favorite hub. Green, why is the 3rd Fleet base the best hub in the entire game? 3rd Fleet? 2nd Fleet? I don't remember which one you are.
3rd Fleet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about a third of the size of Astera, but has literally everything Astera has. So...
it's fast.
The best part, the smithy here doesn't have a cutscene associated with it, unlike the one in Astera.
Shoutouts to them adding the smithy in Iceborne. When they did the Iceborne update for this game, it actually made the 80% category so much faster. A lot of the QOL that they added and a lot of the other options that they added just made this game so fast. So normally we'd be gathering some extra Thunderbugs here, but we're not going to do that. We're also in another assigned expedition where we have to spot that ZCAQ and then find a camp. And we can use this time to like gather some more materials, but like we were talking about earlier, Barroth and Jyuratodus gave us 6 extra Thunderbugs, so we don't have to gather any more extra Thunderbugs here. Normally we would gather 5 total between this quest and the next quest, but we just don't need to do that anymore, which is really nice. It does save a little bit of time, especially after what Jyuratodus did to me. I'll never forgive him. But, you know, we still got a lot of, like, high execution, high octane hunting, like, coming up. Just got to get through this little section here, and then we can move on to it. There's some really, like, cool little movement techs here, like, not dodging in some places using, Okay, how long did it take us to realize that we could use a ration while jumping out of the base? So that we didn't have to manage our stamina differently.
5 years.
Yeah, figured that one out a couple days ago. That was great. Yeah, because just like Souls games, which it's not as relevant here because this isn't an open world game, but just like Souls games, you know, if your stamina gets too low, you start to like move slower, and if it is completely depleted, you stop moving entirely. So stamina management while we're moving around is actually super important. Green, what am I doing?
Making the one piece of armor in the game, the bone chest, that just gives us a flat attack boost. That does actually make a very big difference later on. And then upgrading our defender weapon. We technically could have done it. We could have upgraded our weapon as soon as we beat Anjanath earlier. But we don't draw the weapon on Zorah 2, and like I said earlier, the research-based smithy doesn't have a cutscene associated with it, so it's faster to just wait until now. So this is Paolumu. This is the fight that made us realize, oh, Sword and Shield is really good outside of just the end game. So this fight is going to be a full lock. One thing you will notice is we're going to be using a lot more traps going forward. Monsters are getting to a point where we can't just permanently chain claggers together. And SNS specifically is actually very bad at chaining claggers together. So we're going to be alternating claggers with other forms of CC, such as a trap or a KO.
And in this fight, we'll do both.
Yep. Shooting this little sleep toad here so it doesn't mess with us mid-fight. And 2 claw uppercuts on the head does tenderize it, which makes it take more damage. First PR gets us this clagger. We don't even need to grab it. We can just use our shield to get the KO. Do another PR during this KO.
That was almost bad.
Nice. Grabbing and instantly dropping off of this clagger gives us just enough time to put this pitfall trap down for some CC and throw one of our tranks. We can fit 2 PRs in here. Okay. And then now throw our last trank, put down our last trap.
I can't see anything.
And what?
Ooh, okay. I couldn't see anything. There were too many birds there.
So one thing we haven't really talked about is the difference between the 2 traps, Pitfall and Shock. The way we're going to be using them is Pitfall traps are going to be primarily for CC, and Shock traps are going to be for actually capturing the monster. Reason for that, Pitfall traps last like almost twice as long as a Shock trap, but as you saw here, they take a lot longer to actually go down. Whereas Shock traps go down instantly, so when you just need to get it down so that you can throw your tranks and do your last bit of damage, it's much better for capturing the monster. And we have more access to Shock traps than we do Pitfalls. I think we only get like 6 Pitfall traps for the entire run, and like 20 Shock traps.
As opposed to Monster Hunter Rise, if you've ever seen that speedrun, why was I not running forward? Rise is the exact opposite, where we have access to about 1 billion pitfalls and 4 shocks. It's actually really funny.
So this is another expedition, so there's not going to be an end timer here. This effect's very cool, starting with a flash pod. Claw uppercut for our first half tenderize. Into a wall bang. Then manually clutch on and tenderize with the sword. This both tenderizes the head and gives us a thorn pod, which we can use for KO later in the script. And now we can do a PR. And this is one of the rare circumstances where SNS can actually chain claggers together. Because as you'll see here, he's going to step forward to try and roar, and that delay gives us just enough time to consistently land our PR there. Now using the thorn pods here to get a KO into 2 PRs. And that first pod has dropped, so now we are in a pretty good position to just cap the monster. Beautiful. And now you'll notice there's no end timer, but there is one more monster we have to sight on this expedition, and there happens to be a bunch of perish rooms on the way to it, which, hey, guess what we need right now?
Oh, we needed so many perish rooms. We're actually capped out on Sleep Herb, and the thing that we are missing is just perish rooms to craft trank bombs with them. So inversely now, we are just going to gather all of these perish rooms, and then we're going to cap on perish rooms instead, and we're going to be completely out of sleep herb.
Oh.
It's really funny. We haven't talked about this yet, but one of the really cool things about this speedrun is the routing between quests and the routing like that you're doing naturally. Like this game routes so well. Like since day one, we've pretty much had this route figured out, like what we're gonna do and where. Oop, I saved. I lose a second and a half. Unfortunate. Runs over.
Can't believe you. Reset.
I know. Reset. Oh, actually, you know what? That would be a really fun donation challenge to do. $10 for every save.
Oh yeah.
I'll make it worse. I'll do like $50 for every save because I don't often do it. That could be fun. But yeah, so the route of this game like was figured out very quickly. So like just like where we moved and like what we did has stayed pretty consistent since day one. We've like reorganized some things like track gathering. We've like entirely redid because there's just so many better ways to do that now. But before like a lot of the stuff that we're doing now has been done since day one. Green, I'm gonna let you talk about Legiana.
Yeah, so you might have noticed there, Bagel ate at the canteen, which is the first time he's done that in this run, and until the last 5 fights, or like last 3 fights of the game, last 2 fights of the game,
yeah,
is the only time you will see that. Reason being, eating at the canteen does give you an attack boost, but on most fights, it's not enough to make a difference. However, this fight is unique. There is not a cutscene here. We are just on a cycle to get to the monster. And since we have to wait for it anyway, there's no reason not to eat there and get our attack boost. You might also see he grabbed this poison knife from the box. This monster is very susceptible to poison. It's just going to be a constant tick of damage. It's going to make this script a lot easier to do. And now he's hovering a bomb that we're going to set up before the monster gets here.
Yeah, Legiana is definitely one of the harder fights to do cleanly. So we'll see how this goes.
And intentionally used all but one of the poison knives here so that as soon as he shoots this last one, he auto reloads into his normal slinger ammo because you cannot wall bang with any consumable items. So there's our wall bang, equipping a flash pod, doing a PR, dodging out, and going for our first mount. Never mind. We're dropping off the mount instantly and flashing the monster because mounts are slow, but flashes are fast. PR into a clagger, beautiful. Claw uppercut to reset the clagger and get half a tenderize on the head. Then we can do a partial PR here, and now the enrage roar is queued up. Huh.
Sure, man. We go for it.
You're a PR, I think you're a PR short right now, aren't you?
Nah.
Huh.
So the really risky thing that I just did there was going for it. I should not have done that, and probably wouldn't do that in a marathon setting. So you probably heard Green go, and then he's gonna roar here, and then he did nothing, and that's just this game.
Yeah, that was I think that was just like the clagger happening
Too
slightly
soon.
earlier than normal. Messed
Yeah.
with that.
But yeah, so the only thing that was like a little bit different than the normal script there is when he was supposed to roar, I do another PR there. PR is a lot of damage, so to skip a PR, I had to be very confident in my damage. And that's exactly what I did there. So that was very, very high risk because there is no backup to that. That would have been a failure and a spectacular one at that. I forgot to eat this ration up there. It's okay. I'll do it the slow way. Okay, Odogaron. So this is one of the fights of all time. There is a script, asterisk. Green, what is the Odogaron script?
Well, you see, you're gonna do a wall bang. You're gonna do a PR. You're gonna tenderize. He's gonna drop a piercing pod. You're gonna slinger burst until you get the correct kind of flinch. Unless you get the very rare scenario where he doesn't do that correct kind of flinch. And this fight is very hard to explain. There is a method to it. The method is consistent, but it's very flowcharty.
Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't a script. This is a flowchart. Yeah. This is a lot of reacting to what this fight is going to do. So when I say that every fight is scripted in this game except for one, I mean this one. This one, unfortunately, like, isn't scripted. But it is still very consistent. It's just kind of like towards the end of it, you know, it just all falls apart. Do I hit that? I do. Never punished.
Yep. So you may have noticed we actually didn't do a claw uppercut for the half tenderize, but we did tap the head 3 times to turn it, which will also give us that half tenderize we needed. Now we can slinger burst with the pierce pods. There's the good flinch. And now we have what's called a faux topple queued up. So once Bagel hits it twice.
3 times.
Like fake topple, and then he always follows it up with these double bites, which lets us fit another PR in pretty consistently. And now he's queued up that if we slinger burst his head again, he should clagger. Beautiful. And depending on his positioning, you can actually fit an extra PR in there if he claggers like into a wall perfectly. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite in the position for that there, but
no. What do you think, Icon, for the cap there?
not in Marathon, no. Now you probably can.
Yeah, I can.
I'm gonna skip a pod.
Oh, please walk into that. Thank you.
That hit.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, you heard Green say it there. I think you skipped a pod. Pods drop the red slinger ammo. We call them pods. They're slinger bursts. They're slinger pods. They drop naturally from the monster based on HP thresholds. So we can actually use them as an indicator of like how quickly the quest is progressing. Asterisk. Sometimes they don't drop. So we do have a backup. It is the HP monitor, or the heartbeat monitor in the bottom left over the monster icon. But that is a lot harder to like kind of read in the moment. Yeah, but that will at least indicate when a monster's below 33% health, which is close to the capture threshold of 30. Yeah. No. There we go. Okay, so we're coming to the last 2 quests before Zorah 2. So these are the last 2 quests of the Colossal Task section. And these are the apexes of these environments, right? These are apex monsters, Rathalos and Diablos. These fights are very cool. I whiffed that one entirely. These fights are very, very cool.
Yeah. This first one, Rathalos, is actually the most recent, like, major time save that was found, and you will see why. Because we are actually going to do this interesting thing if you've seen this run before. You go into the cutscene, you encounter the Rathalos, and then he flies away. So what we've done for a long time is just when he flies away, we go unlock the camp that's right next to his nest, and then we leave and we post a quest, which like is slow, but it's faster than waiting for him. There's a new method now, and you will see it in a second.
Yeah, this whole strategy is called Expedition Los, or Expedition Rathalos.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Very neat manipulation of AI as well. So the first very important part is placing this pitfall down. This is actually very precise. You only have like about a square mile of area where this pitfall will work. But Rathalos actually has just fallen into that pitfall, and that delays him just enough flying away for us to stop him. So now we're going to run up here. We're going to shoot a slinger pod at this specific branch. And that's going to kind of bait his AI in a weird way, because he's going to want to run to that branch, but he can't. So he's just going to keep running into this wall. We can actually clutch onto his head through that wall to get a wall bang. Gilly here just makes it much more consistent. Use 2 barrel bombs and shoot a dung pod to lure him over to this dam. This is like the single longest CC in the game. Attack here to cancel fall stun. We can fit 5 PRs in here. Beautiful. And now we claw uppercutted for that first wallbang, so we can reset this Clagger with another claw uppercut. And do a PR, try and get a KO here. Beautiful. More PR during this KO will get us another Clagger when he stands up. And we can reset this Clagger.
Thank you for saying that, because I almost didn't. It's like, right, reset it.
And then a PR on the head to finish it out. Oh,
yeah, my damage is really good. Yeah. I hit all but 1 hit into the head during the waterfall animation. Found out in practice, I have to hit at least 1 of those for this script to work. If I miss all 5 of them, if I get like all gray numbers from that, this just doesn't work, and you can fail. And it's really, really sad. And I spent like hours trying to figure out why that was the case.
Yep. And one thing you might have noticed about that hunt, after the waterfall happened, there was no combat music. Because during that entire time, Rathalos was trying to de-aggro. So if he was ever not CC'd, he was gonna sprint away in 2 seconds. That is a fight you have to be very careful on.
Lumino, thank you so much for the 17th months. I appreciate you. Yeah, anyone that's coming in a little bit late, what we are doing today is a commentary speedrun for marathon submissions, so feel free to hang out. I probably won't be reading chat too much. Feel free just to hang out, ask questions if you'd like. We're looking at chat every now and then to see if there's any questions, and just enjoy the commentary, right? That's what we are doing today and what we are here for.
Yep. So the opener for this fight has a bit of RNG to it. The most common one is great and what we want. The second most common is he digs, which isn't great, but can still be consistently dealt with.
Okay, we're good.
Nice save. Holy.
Yeah, I fortunately have done that enough to know how to save it.
Yeah. So this is the ideal AI. He charges, gets stuck in the rock. Unfortunately, did not bait out the tail swipe after, but we're just going to start hitting the leg, try and go for a topple here. Nice. And now we're just going to be trying to chain these topples. There is a bit of RNG to it here, depending on how he moves when he stands up, but it's relatively consistent, like you can see. And this is one fight where Bagel is going to be very intently looking at the heart rate monitor, because Diablos is a notorious pod skipper, and it's so hard to deal consistent enough damage to just count it out here. So this is some of the RNG I was talking about. The way Diablos moved, our Perfect Rush finisher went into his chest instead of his leg. Luckily it got us a Clagger there, but there are times where that won't happen.
Uh-oh. Oop, I was a little slow there. Damn.
Nice. There we go. Got it back.
I literally can't tell what his heartbeat is.
Yeah, it's at 66 still.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. All right, there we go.
Nice. Nice.
All right. Yeah, Diablos is a lot of reacting to what he is doing, but this can be a full lock. He didn't give us any digs, which is ideal. It was just on me to like not skill issue that, which I did a little tiny bit, but we're okay. But yeah, the heart rate monitor reads every third of his health. So there's 100 to 66, 66 to 33, and 33 to 0. And so the one that we care about is the 33 to 0, because that's when we start looking for our 33% or our 30% capture threshold, which the 3% is like very doable with a PR.
Yeah. Bless. Bless.
Excuse me, thank you.
Now, the annoying thing about the heart rate monitor is it's not just a constant heart rate that's at 33%, especially if the monster's enraged. You have to be like constantly looking, because it'll be like, okay, he's angry. Here's a spike. Here's a spike. Here's a slightly smaller one. Okay, there's the almost flat line. We're at 33%. We're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the heart rate monitor is like not the best way. It's also not the quickest way to be able to tell. So one, just having our script, you know, happen perfectly is the ideal situation. Two, we have pods for backup, so when pods don't drop. Three, we have the heart rate monitor. A lot of different tools to understand what the status of the monster is, which is really, really nice. If we were playing the game long enough, we'd get enough research points on each of these monsters, so we would be able to see the icons, but because we don't play, you know, we're not fighting monsters multiple times, we don't get enough research points on them, so we will never see the like skull icon that most players are familiar with when they play. All right, so Zorah Magdaros 2. This is also, like we were talking about earlier, another ending quest to a partial 90% category. This is a very cool fight, though. Yes, it's a bit of an auto-scroller, but everything that we do during this has an impact to the quest. Unlike the first Zorah Magdaros quest, Zorah actually has HP now, like a couple thousand. It's a lot. And so we actually have to attack Zorah Magdaros now. And we get to use our super secret, amazing, awesome, incredible tool, Sword and Shield, to do that. Green, why is Sword and Shield the best weapon for Zorah 2?
Well, you see, we don't want to break the magma cores, like Bagel said, because breaking them means he flinches. So we need to do as much damage to these as possible without breaking them. And I did mention earlier, PR Finisher has the highest part break modifier in the game, as far as I'm aware. The rest of PR, however, has a 0.3 part break modifier, which means we can do triple the damage to these cores before they break of most weapons.
And one more. So we know exactly how many PRs we can do here before the magma core breaks. On this first core, it's 7. We're going to visit it twice. So on first visit, we do 4, and then we're going to start our climb. If you're familiar with Mario speedrunning, was it SMBJ1? You know, the climb? It's the climb. I watch a lot of Takate. I always think about the climb. This is our climb. This is our version of the climb. But we're trying to meet a cycle here. There's going to be a audio dialogue, and that's where we're going to drop these stalactites. They're rigged up with explosives. We're going to hit that one behind us using the power of the eyes in the back of my head. Let that explode, and then now we want to do 5 here. We actually do, like, what, 9 to this one? But we're only going to do 5.
Take like 12. We just don't have time to fit it in before we need to be at our next location.
Does this hit me? Never mind. I thought I was positioned perfectly to not get hit by that.
Yeah, these Magma Core hitboxes are one of the joys of the map being a monster that's moving around. It can just shift their hitboxes in weird ways, unfortunately. How?
No idea. Not a single clue.
We are now moving towards the single most important checkpoint of this entire quest. We need to drop a stalagmite that is going to cancel out Zorah charging up power. Not only is it like a 10 or 15 second animation, but it also does a ton of damage to us, and then will make his magma cores explode more often and deal more damage for the rest of the hunt. So we really want to cancel this out. Nice little pre-fire there. Handler says, oh no, it's charging up power, and we flinched him, so he's no longer charging up power.
Yeah, ideally you line that the hit from the stalactite as close to that audio dialogue after that audio dialogue as possible from the handler. I've gotten some pretty tight ones before, and I have shot it a couple times too early, so now I just kind of like wait for about halfway through the animation. Definitely one of the things you have to get used to with this run. It is very easy to mess up. All right, so a little bit of a FPS manipulation here. I only do this because of consistency. It doesn't actually do anything better, but it just makes this happen more consistently. For some reason, we're going to try to go out of bounds, get an out of bounds warp in a little bit. That out of bounds warp puts us on the left side of the barrier for phase 2, which is the side that we want to be on. If we transition normally just with the blackout between phases, it puts us on the right side, which means we just lose time. We don't want that because losing time is slow, and we don't like going slow. So I'm putting my FPS down to 60 to make this out of bounds warp more consistent. We'll talk about it more in a second, but I need to find the spot to put these bombs down, and don't put them too close to me. All right, that's perfect. Hey, remember Zorah 1 where Nergigante showed up? Zorah 2, Nergigante shows up again, but this time it's an actual fight. We have to break a horn, and we have to decrease his health threshold enough to make him go away. Green, why is the horn break important?
So if you've ever played this game before, you know the lovely part of the game near the end where you have to collect elder tracks.
Which we do, by the way. We do that, by the way, in the speedrun.
We do that. Yeah. And, however, any research points you get relating to the monster you're looking for tracks for does count towards that investigation. So if we can break Nergi's horn here and get the 30 research points that gives us, we can actually do all of his track gathering in one visit instead of 2. So it saves a massive amount of time.
Okay, well, now I've done all the damage that I need to this guy. So we're just waiting for him to leave.
Yep. Click, clack.
Go ahead and get a
click,
clagger. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Now is the part of Zorah. It's not technically RNG, but we don't understand how it works. He
no
can
idea.
Stand for a very varying amount of time here. Like, it can range. It's a range of like 20 seconds.
Yeah, so Zorah Magdaros is standing up, right? Like the way he is oriented right now, he is standing up, his head's behind us, and while he is in this animation, this animation can just last for who knows how long. It looks like we're getting a long one because he is attacking here. But 2, while he is standing, we can damage this breakable part on him as much as we want. It can't break while Zorah is in this state. Just another like little thing to take advantage of here. It actually doesn't change too much, but this is Rock Friend, and we just like to wail on Rock Friend. Unfortunately, that is a very slow standing segment, but it really doesn't matter. It's like you're gonna lose that time. I've done it as fast, like I've done it like very fast before. I've done it very slow before. Not really sure how it happens, still like how it works. I have to do 3 PRs here, reminding myself. But something to put into perspective, I'm gonna do 3 PRs here. If I hit it one more time, it breaks. instantly. It is literally within a single damage of being broken. Like, it is so close to being broken. So we just leave it alone. That's how tight, like how much damage we're dealing to these. We're trying to deal as much damage as we can, because he's actually, like, we don't get anywhere close to the HP gate between phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 does have an HP gate, by the way. Like, it does eventually stop taking damage, but we just don't get close to it at all. So this magma core is inside of Zorah Magdaros. So earlier I was talking about a out of bounds warp. This is how we're gonna do it. For some reason at 144 FPS, the game doesn't like check either checks too slow or doesn't check fast enough, whatever. That it doesn't realize or doesn't register that we're out of bounds before the fade out transition would happen. So I put the game back down to 60 to make this happen more consistently, just because I don't want to lose time to something that's in my control.
What?
I'm at a little bit of an awkward cadence here with the cores, 'cause I'm about to get another explosion. Yep. Claw uppercut to super armor through that damage, so I don't get knocked out of that corner. But the idea, what's happening there is the ceiling closes on us soon enough, like before the fade out warp would happen. So it gives us the out of bounds warp, which puts us on the left side next to this. So now we're going to be shooting cannons. I don't know, Green, is there anything to talk about with the cannons?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, we're just shooting cannons. Ideally, we're going to get this in 4 cannons. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5. We shoot these 2 early enough that Zorah Magdaros doesn't flinch, and then we're going to load up, the 2 NPCs are going to load up the other 2 that we just fired. We're going to load up this 3rd one, and then after we shoot the Dragonator, which I'm going to need to see it in chat, where's my Dragonator? After we shoot it, we're just going to fire 2 to 3 more of these cannons, and that's going to end the quest. We just see where's my Dragonator in chat. So last step. 1, 2, pre-fire. So one of the ending conditions that the barrier defense has to be shown under the quest information. So that's really just what we're waiting for there. And so then now cannon 1, cannon 2, and it's done. Yep, all right, cool. So putting the game back to 144 FPS, all buttery smooth, and also just making sure that I have the pitfall crafted there. And now we're just waiting for the quest to end.
Yep.
Double calm! Let's go! That is a 1% chance.
That saves a lot of time.
How much, Green?
Like 15.
Oh, wait, really?
Because you don't have to go back to the research base for the Pinkian weapon. If you're willing to mess up your golds, at least.
I'm not. I don't know how to do that. I don't know that movement.
But now we are switching back to Switch Axe just for... Really for one fight here. But it's slow to switch between SNS and Switch Axe for the 2 fights here, so we have to use Switch Axe for both of these fights. But after these next 2 fights, we will not touch Switch Axe for the rest of the run.
The best weapon in the game, by the way. I don't know if I said that earlier. This is my favorite weapon.
Yeah, this is probably my... Of the fights that aren't just, like, absurdly difficult, this is by far my least favorite in the entire run.
Oh, and that's so fair. This fight is hard. For, like, no reason. Like, it's hard to do... It's not hard to complete. It's hard to do fast. Mostly just because of blast procs and how ZSD operates. It makes it like very, very variable. So I have like my strategy of how I like to do it. It is the fight of all time though.
Yeah. Gathering our first bit of pink Rathian tracks here. So we're gonna gather these 4 and lure the high rank Pukei-Pukei over using that smoke nut, which will let us set up this wallbang. And we're gonna be relatively similar to the first Pukei-Pukei with just like a few variances. So like starting out, getting our gauge, going into our ZSD, which lets us go through the roar.
That's unfortunate.
Key difference is we actually like it when this Pukei goes to eat his food. The other one, we were trying at all costs, and we're successful in stopping him from trying to eat. But this one, because his eating keeps him on the ground, it's actually just a free opening for us. Now.
Oh! It was the very end of that animation caught me. I thought I was far enough away. Okay, I got lucky. I don't have gauge for this, I just realized.
Yep. Wild swing, yippee!
I don't have enough damage.
Oh.
Never mind, I cut the tail. Cool. Alright, so we have to slay this thing now. That's fine, we're just gonna Slinger Burst it. I do. How do I make this up?
That's your spare.
Yeah. My spare. Right. That's the one that would... Oh, right. Okay. Yes. Okay. I got there.
Yeah.
That's the one I would craft here. That would be my spare, so I just don't craft one here anymore. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so... My one, in parentheses, one spare. I no longer have a spare shock trap for the rest of the game. Actually, that's not true, because I have a bunch of extra Thunderbugs. I could actually get a spare for after this if I really wanted to. Should I? I probably should.
You have to do like really weird restock movement for it.
I could just do a double restock though.
That's true.
Yeah, I think I just restock in front of the camp, like in front of the box here. I think that's like a reasonable time loss for marathon.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that I have the backup, and we got 6 extra Thunderbugs earlier, which means we have 3 extra Thunderbugs right now. Green, talk about tracks.
Yeah, so the way tracks spawn in this game, every map, every monster has 3 different patterns they can spawn in. We have all those patterns memorized. However, the time difference between getting all the worst patterns and all the best patterns is like 2.5 minutes when you account for Pink Rathian.
Oop, hello, Goose.
We got sick of that, and we now just mod it so it is always the fastest pattern, because losing 2.5 minutes, 2 hours into a speedrun got very obnoxious.
Yeah, I know it's bad.
So we are just going to be great time for donations because we are just optimally walking. And Pink Rathian is actually the only monster in the game that is going to require 2 visits for us. So we're actually going to return from this visit because we have collected enough to unlock our next assigned mission. We're going to accept that assigned mission, and then we're going to be able to post that assigned mission from our next expedition.
Yes, not bad.
Yeah.
Is it slow? Yes. Is it bad? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he loses like 3.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. That's actually reasonable. Remember to actually put the Ghillie Mantle on this time, so Basil Geese cannot see me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of this game is just execution, and when that execution doesn't happen, what is the best option for ad-lib, and also I have to make that decision in like 1/10 of a second. So a lot of it does just come back to like knowing how to play the game well, and like knowing what is like your best case scenario for like getting a script back. So it's a lot of like repetition, and like Green and I, we have like reps and on reps on reps on all of these quests to like figure out like what are our points of failure, what are like the possible issues, what's the next best possible setup. Like if we lose the script here, how can we like save it? You know, we at least have like a deep understanding to that point, which is really, really nice. But these last couple of hunts are really just all scripted out, and the next two are, I think, are like kind of cool, because the next one we get to take advantage of stealth AI and Switch Axe's impeccable way of chaining ZSDs together, or chaining claggers together, which is really, really cool. And then, whoops, I saved again. And then not that one. And then Pink Rathian is just like the coolest hunt for SNS period. Like it is one of the harder scripts, but it's probably like one of the cooler scripts to do too.
So yeah, like Bagel said, this is the best example of abusing stealth AI. Because the biggest issue Switch Axe has with Anjanath is when you're trying to chain claggers together, he has a couple attacks he can do when his clagger ends, but before your ZSD finisher goes off. That will make your finisher miss. However, if he's in stealth AI, the first thing he is always going to do after a clagger is back up to try and find you and roar. But we are always going to stagger him before he can do that, so he's just going to permanently stay in stealth AI. So luring him over to this pitfall. Now we have our gauge. And his enrage roar will happen before the stealth roar, so we won't lose stealth here. And now we're going to use a flash pod to get this last ZSD in. And then we are actually going to lose gauge, so we're going to need to use a second pitfall here to get it back. Now we don't have an enrage roar here to get the ZSD off, but we do have his recovery from flash pod flail, which is just as good. And that is 2 pods on the ground, which means he is ready for capture.
Didn't breathe that entire time. It's just this fight, you just got to read everything that he does, and everything that happens changes, and the way that we're trying to like grab claggers and stuff like that are really scary angles, because if you just don't get the right angle, if you don't get directly onto the head from when you like want to clutch claw on, your timing is now gone. But seeing both pods on the ground like that is just really, really nice. It's very comfy. So we don't have to like try to ZSD this thing in a trap, because man, is it so easy to accidentally clutch claw onto the arms. Oh my gosh. I saved again.
Yeah, and that fight was the one reason we used Switch X.
Yep.
Like, for reference, the fight before it is 10 seconds faster and infinitely more consistent with Sword and Shield. But high rank Anjanath with Sword and Shield is so horrible that it's still not worth using. But now we are back to my love Sword and Shield for the rest of the run.
This weapon's good.
Yep. And going into very interesting fight, one of the coolest scripts in the run, and a fight that over the years has gone from the most RNG heavy in the game to the only RNG in it makes it harder but doesn't really make it slower. So starting out with a roar dodge, instantly gilly so that we can bait her over. Shoot a rock, eat a might seed while we wait. Shooting this rock at the ground puts her into search AI so we can get this wallbang in consistently. And lands us right on top of this second slinger ammo. We're going to clutch onto the head and tenderize. That'll get us our first half of the tenderize and drop us a bomb pod for later. And now Bagel mentioned earlier, Claw Uppercut has super armor, which we will use to Claw Uppercut through the roar, get the other half of the tenderize, and set up our second wallbang. Now we do a PR here intentionally early, so we know we're not going to get CC out of this, but it just gets us damage in and breaks the head. Dodging this roar, grabbing the bomb as we slide past, we're luring her down this cliff for 2 reasons. 1 is it's going to give us a flash topple, and 2, a large monster is going to be coming down up top, and we don't want to be there when that happens. Clagger, like on Paolumu, we can grab it, reset it to put down a pitfall trap. And now we can fit 3 PRs in here.
Not great damage here,
but we can still fit in the third because it is going to do a flash flail. Reset the Clagger, go for a KO now. Beautiful. We can do 2 slinger bursts here and then a PR. Which should get us the last Clagger we need to trank and trap. Beautiful. That was the greediest
I know
trank I've ever seen you go for.
I know. I don't know what I was thinking. I threw the first and I was like, this is a mistake. Who are you? This is wrong. That was super greedy though. Yeah, I usually extend that Clagger there, and I was thinking to myself what I was gonna do was trank, and then I thought maybe I don't have enough time, and so I just trapped, and I forgot it was gonna move, and I was like, oh no, this is all over. I'm gonna be in the worst position, but I at least know I have a backup shock trap there, which is very, very nice.
Yeah. And
hello.
Now it's
there we go.
Track gathering for the other 4 elders.
How many of you know how to count to 20? Because I'm gonna need some help here. We have to do that 3 times. Can you count to 20? Oh, I don't. I don't count on Nergi.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, counting on Nergi is illegal. No, but we do have this mandatory track gathering segment in the game. This is a mechanic that they added to this game. The research points allow you to have more knowledge and information about a monster, including its weaknesses, what its current status is in a hunt, a lot of different information. Its location on the map is instantly revealed. So like when you're playing through, you know, casually by yourself, when you're getting a lot of reps on a monster, this just kind of like naturally happens over time, and is eventually something that you forget you had to do, because like, you know, why would you? But for the speedrun, they have this mandatory section to force you to interact with this mechanic. Why? Well, they want you. They were really, really proud of the environment in this game, and rightfully so. Like all of these like little creatures that you're seeing that I'm running past are all interactable. They're all collectible. This entire game's ecosystem and environment is absolutely stunning and beautiful. It was a huge step up from the previous game, which was Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate for the 3DS and Switch. Like really think about that. They went from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate to this. What an absolute like step up. What a huge glow up. Just an absolutely stunning video game. And so they wanted to slow down your progression. And also like the big part of this too is you're transitioning into the end of the game. This is not meant to be done in this way. Really like the ideal way to do this is to still be hunting, working on improving your equipment, upgrading your gear, and then going into these quests. However, with the introduction of the Defender armor, or the Guardian armor and Defender weapons, they wanted people to be able to complete this faster. So when Iceborne came out, they actually added more tracks to these patterns. So before Iceborne, there were less tracks. So if you're thinking to yourself, man, it was not this easy when I first did this when the game came out, correct, because it didn't exist. Like, for Kushala, I think the most points that we could gather, so we had to gather 20 points per, it's 200 points, we call it 20, per pattern. Kushala's best pattern had 12. So you were gonna do it twice. Now every pattern has 20. So regardless of the pattern that you like would encounter, you would be able to finish it. And like Green mentioned before, to help standardize the speedrun a little bit, because like, I mean, we're within seconds of each other, Green and I. Like, what's the difference now? A minute 15?
Minute 30, like, exact.
Well, no, I just PB'd by 16 seconds.
Oh, wait, yeah, minute 15.
Yeah, I earned those 16 seconds. I would don't pay no mind. I was a minute and a half up the split before that. Don't worry about it. We don't talk about it. No, but this game it's real tight now, right? And so we made the decision to mod in these static track patterns. Oh, cool, a thunderbug. The static track patterns. So there wasn't this just like random, you know, 2-minute time loss 2 hours into the game. Fun little optimization here. When I'm done gathering these last patterns, I'm crouching and then opening the map to cancel the animation as fast as possible. Little itty bitty optimizations, right? Like little half-second optimizations add up to a lot in this game. Oh my gosh, that's my fourth save.
I learned that one from a misclick.
It is also something that's really cool to talk about this game is we learn a lot about it every time that somebody new starts speedrunning it, because, you know, when you only have like 5 people and they're all doing the same thing for 7 years, it's a lot harder for us to like make discoveries because we're trying to like optimize the things that we're already doing. So anytime that somebody picks up this game, we always discover something new. Or whenever we make a mistake, we discover something new. Green, did you want to talk about the Everstream? The Everstream's cool.
Yeah, so similar to Mercer Skip at the start of the game, this is another sprinting skip, or walking skip. There we go. Admiral here has a very weird mechanic. As long as you're already out of his slow walk radius, it's very small. But if you ever get into the slow walk radius, you need to get very far away before you can start running again. So we actually intentionally like stay pretty far behind him until he's at a point where we can just slip past his radius here. So we are like way ahead of where we should be right now.
We're like, and this is no joke, we're like 10 seconds ahead of like where we can be, like 10-15 seconds. Like waiting to walk through this entire section is awful.
Yeah. And then this is going to be where we gather Nergi tracks. These are not RNG, even without modding. Your first visit here, all the tracks are in the same place. They're always right next to the monsters that you need to encounter. So we need to spot 3 monsters here, and we need to collect our Nergi tracks while we're here. And we do have some cool movement for that.
Oh, you know what? The other thing that I forgot about, incentive-wise, that we could be doing? I'll definitely add it. Yeah, the Dodo Rock pull. I completely forgot about that. The second monster that we spot here is Dodo Gamma. Fan favorite. Some people love him, some people hate him. And we have the choice to either drop a rock on him or leave him alone. So definitely something else that we can add as a incentive in a bid war.
Yep, it loses 1.5 seconds to drop the rock, but it's funny.
If you do it right. I don't. So I usually lose more time doing this. Don't put that on. I always think I need to put the Ghillie Mantle on here.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one. We're going to gather our first spike here, and then we're actually going to intentionally trigger this cutscene. So we grab the first, dodge into the cutscene. Ghillie, so Dodo doesn't bother us, and then that cutscene warps us right to these second spikes here.
And so there's a rock that's right above him that we can drop on him. We will spare him this time. And then the last monster that we have to spot warps us to the other side of this arena where the tracks that we have to gather are. Really, really nice, really convenient. Like I said, this game just routes itself, you know? Like, this is the order that we've always done this in, and when we were, like, looking at it, it's like, is there a better way to do this? No. Like, we figured it out. We figured it out. So, a little bit of like reordering and restructuring here. After we gather two, or like one or two of the tracks here, we are always sent to the commander to talk to him. So that puts us on the other side of Astera, the side that we don't want to be on. So we can just come back here, or I guess it's after we do Nergi tracks, right? We talked to him, yeah, because we're actually doing tracks out of order here. The game doesn't want us, it's not asking us to do these other 3 Elder Dragons yet. It's really just, oh, hello, Odo. It's really just asking us to do the Nergi tracks right now. So we've finished that flag. So now that we have done that and we've gone back and talked to the commander, when we go back to Astera, it's going to put us on the other side next to the, oh my gosh, the researcher, what's he called? Chief ecologist? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to put us like on the other side of Astera next to him, where you would normally spawn into Astera. So a little reordering optimization. Like I said, it actually saves like a considerable amount of time.
It saves like 6 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's massive.
Those of you that are eagle-eyed, you might notice on the right side of the screen, we do not have a progress bar. We do not technically have these investigations unlocked, which means at the end of all of these expeditions, we don't have to wait for that progress bar to fill up.
It does mean you have to like keep track of how much that you've collected, but
yes,
it's literally counting to 20. It's really not that hard, and we've done it enough times. Like, we know the route, we know how many to collect, and we can check at the very end here too. As long as it says 200 resource points gathered, then we're good. And if we spot other monsters and stuff like that, it can change that number. So we just have to like take that into consideration. But 200 points, we're good. There's also a menu to check before, like in the expedition, that you can check before you leave. So like for new people like learning the speedrun route, we always recommend doing that. Like if you're not confident that you collected the 200, just check really quick and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! We're gonna do Hog and a Frog. Oh, yeah. All right, so this is Poogie. Poogie is our best friend. We're gonna give him a really good big pet. There we go. Now we can carry Poogie around and find things in Astera. So as I'm walking around, my controller is actually vibrating, and that's Poogie's little sniffer going, ooh, there's something here, put me down and I'll get it for you. So if the Hog and a Frog incentive is met, this is when we would do that right before Nergigante. We're going to bring Poogie over here to this light. He's going to sniff out in front of it, and he's going to find something. He's going to find a great item. Best item in the game. It's Hog and a Frog. He also found a steel egg. Nice. Change clothes. This one, Hog and a Frog. There you go. That's the Hog and a Frog incentive. That's a speedrun category. It can be done after the first quest of the game. It is 12 minutes long. Instead of doing a 12-minute long speedrun of just the beginning of the game again, I figured showing off the Hog and a Frog would be a great incentive. And let me tell you, people go nuts for Poogie. We love him. Poogie is such a fan favorite. He's a little guy who doesn't love a teacup pig wearing a frog outfit. Like, come on. What isn't there to love? So yeah, that would be the Hog and a Frog incentive. We'd do that right before the Elders. And speaking of, we're doing our second to last upgrade here, and we're giving the cat his own weapon, the Pukei-Pukei sack, or the Pukei-Pukei bow, I think it's called. That's going to be used in the very last quest. It's a poison weapon, and like I was talking about earlier, status on the Palico is actually like super handy. Usually status weapons for the hunter have low raw, but they have like decent status. It's kind of like make them equal, but raw is the best thing to have in this game, like all the time, for us. So we give that status to the Palico instead. All right, Green, this is our first Elder Dragon. We've seen him a couple of times. What do we need to know about Nergigante?
First big thing, and this applies to every Elder Dragon, they cannot be captured. So we are hunting them down to 0, and we're gonna deal with the 60-second end timer. Nergigante has a mechanic where he will grow white spikes, and as long as you break them while they're white, you get topples. I will explain the rest after this difficult opener.
Bro. Thank you.
Tenderize here drops a Thorn Pod, which is our go-to KO ammo. We're going to use that for a second wallbang. And the interesting thing here, you cannot get a KO during a wallbang. So all this Thorn Pod damage is still building up the KO, but that KO threshold is just sitting there completely full. So the moment we do any blunt damage, we need to get this normal flinch out of the way, and then any blunt damage gets us the KO. So you can see these white spikes here. They aren't actually going to get us this topple right now, but later on we'll be aiming to get topples off of these. That's going to get us our Clagger. So Nergi's first few CC thresholds overlap in really weird ways, so all this weird stuff we're doing right now is just to get on a good cycle where we aren't worried about overlapping CC anymore. Oop. Right, so we've lured him down here. We can drop this rock on him now. And we are intentionally going to break these spikes early. You're good, you're good. There's our spike topple, and now we're gonna hope for a Clagger here. We might be on a weird threshold though. Nope, okay. So our goal is just gonna be to alternate spike topples and Claggers. The damage happens to work out that way for us. And then eventually he is gonna do a weird flinch when we would expect a Clagger. When that happens, there's a second rock down here that we're just gonna use to get that lock back. There it is. You may notice Bagel is not constantly attacking during the topple. Bit of weird tracking there, unfortunately, just putting him into the arm, but that limp away is very helpful, and we have spikes on the arm, which will let us get this topple back a lot easier. There we go. Good, Clagger.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah, that unfortunately, when the big rocks on the ground break, they become hills. And those hills, when Nergi stands directly on top of them, make actually hitting his head a lot more difficult. It's higher up in the air. So your PR likes to track to the arms because they're closer to you. It's very awkward. But that's fine. That's pretty much the lock. With just one missed PR, not an issue. And so since we have this 60-second end quest timer now too, we have some time to go through and gather some more items. There's mite seeds in this area, so we're grabbing those because we still need mite seeds to finish out this run. We're going to grab another bitter bug and another god bug here. God bug is going to become a demon powder, and the bitter bug is going to become another catalyst. Those catalysts are going to be used here in a second to make regular demon drugs. So just like the mite seed and the demon powder, it's also a raw increase to our damage that stacks with those items, but instead it does not expire. It lasts until the end of the quest, or we cart, whichever happens first. All right, cool.
And thankfully, now that Nergi's done, Nergi has probably the second most complicated thresholds to deal with in the game. 3 out of the 4 fights that are coming up, really all it boils down to is hit the head over and over and over and over, and if you do it right, it keeps falling over. One of them, it does not do that, and we'll talk about that later.
One of them doesn't.
Yeah.
Period. Oh, also, every time that we run past Poogie there, everyone should cheer. Because, like, look at him. He's wearing a little frog outfit. So this is the part of the game where they want us to go and gather the research points for the other Elder Dragons. But we've already done that. So you're going to see we're going to get these little tasks, but they're just going to instantly complete and tell us to go and talk to the Chief Ecologist. Because we've already done it, right? We've already spent all that time doing all that work. So now we could just, like, you know, continue with our lives. We now have the strongest weapon in the game. Nergigante drops the last item that we need to get our 5th upgrade for the Defender weapon. All the Defender weapons take the exact same upgrade materials, so this upgrade route can be done with any of the weapons in the game, but like we were talking about earlier, not all weapons are made equally. SNS is the only thing that can, like, really do this in the game that we've at least discovered so far. But we've done a lot of testing with other weapons. I mean, SNS is built different.
Yeah. Once the first 3 hits of PR, same damage as a level 1 True Charge Slash from Greatsword, if you know what that means.
Which is, like, Greatsword's bread and butter. Like, you're not usually getting in fully charged TCSs. You are usually getting in, like, fast TCSs. And so, like, the fact that this, in half of the attack, has as much damage as a TCS is gross.
Wait, Bagel, you didn't talk to the Huntsman.
I don't wanna. No, we're gonna do that later. Yeah, we're gonna do that later. So the way that we that our Might Seed routing works at the end of the game is we actually want to do the quest that Huntsman gives us last. So we're not gonna talk to him right now. So when we open up the menu to accept the next quest, the option that we're already hovering over is the option that we're gonna do. It's actually a super cool little routing thing that Green came up with. It's called Late Huntsman. We're gonna go and talk to him after we do 2 of these quests. After we do 2 of them, it's going to put us right next to him to talk to him again. So it doesn't really lose any time. And as long as we do things quickly, we actually gain time from it. But because of the Might Seed routing, we want to do the order Kushala, Vaal Hazak, Teostra, because we have exactly enough Might Seed items on each of those quests for that we can get from the previous one. Because, like, right now we have 0, we'll get 2 more after this, and then after Vaal we'll get 4.
Starting this fight with a flash pod and clutching on 3 hits, 2 hits, and then 1 more to turn him towards the wall for this wall bang. That gets us our half tenderize. And now a claw uppercut for the other half. And now we are just going to be aiming to get our damage into his head to chain topples.
Asterisk.
Yeah, this topple, if we do it right, will happen every time. The complicated thing here, it is possible to over damage the head. So Bagel is actually paying very close attention to, like, am I getting blast procs? Are the crystals on the ground exploding, dealing extra damage? Do I need to intentionally whiff damage? Done right, this looks very easy. This is one of the hardest fights in the game. Very nice save there. And now that head break means if we do enough damage here, he will just die, so we're not worried about trying to whiff anything anymore. Beautiful.
Oh. When he gets over to this wall, I usually lose it because you can see his head can go out of bounds. We cannot, which makes landing our PR finishers a lot more difficult because we just like can't get to his head. So once again, 60-second end quest timer. We are looking for a couple of items here to finish out, and I'm also going to try to show off some frogs. Who here likes frogs?
Yep. So
actually, toads. Who here likes toads?
Oh. Detail on that threshold. The reason you can over damage is because if you deal enough damage to get that topple, but he's still on the ground, his threshold still resets, but he's in CC. So he can't fall over again, right? Frog. Thankfully, that is not an issue on the other fights that are simple full locks. One of them, as long as his head is tenderized, just the last hit of finisher is enough to get the topple from a fresh threshold. And the other fight, you need like 300 more damage than we're ever going to do at once to over damage it.
That was a 241 and I still lost 5 seconds. AMA.
Huh. I mean, probably movement.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Gross.
So remember we said Nergigante has the second most complicated thresholds in the game? This monster sucks.
To put it lightly.
We are dealing with 2 thresholds here. We're dealing with a chest threshold to get the Clagger. If that was all we were dealing with, it would be annoying, but it would be fine. The problem is this monster has a second body-wide threshold for the shortest little flinch in the game that you can barely do anything during. And that threshold takes priority over every other form of CC and cannot be overwritten. It will just sit at 1 HP until the flinch happens. So we need to be very, very careful counting damage here, adapting to, do we need to do more or less damage here? Will I have all the slinger ammo I need? Just keeping track of 2 threshold at once. Claw uppercut here. This roar is very tight to dodge and takes long enough we can just super armor through it. And bait out this first wall bang. Now we're trying to get a tenderize on the chest here. Perfect. And this is going to drop us piercing pods, which is going to be one of our main forms of damage on this fight. Slinger bursting it does a lot of damage, which lets us get these flinches more consistently. Okay, so there's our first flinch. Now we're hoping for a Clagger here. We should still be pretty close to it. Nice. So now off this Clagger we can tenderize again, get us more piercing pods for when the 2 we have run out. And there's that short flinch again. So we're just going to be alternating these 2 short flinches into a Clagger, repeat. That is fine. Nice. So that quick flinch is now just going to be sitting at 1 HP, so we can get it very consistently here. And there's our Clagger, so we should be back on a good cadence here. This Gatorade water is acid. It will hurt, so we are trying to be very careful just being around it. And a bit of good news, we are in blue sharpness now, which means we are doing less damage, but it also means we physically cannot over damage anymore, so we don't need to worry about counting or anything, which is fantastic.
Bad.
Beautiful. Oh my god.
And I still have, so the kind of moniker of this fight is the flashing icon at the very top, the sword that's flashing. That is my Might Seed buff. That lasts 3 minutes. If we can finish the fight before that expires, we are on a very good pace. Yeah. That just, at least for my opener, that just means that I got a fast opener because I use it in the middle of my opener. But I know if I can do that, I'm at a low 4, which is really, really nice. If it expires, technically we should reuse another one. I like saving it for the last fight of the game, because it's just an extra one, but we do have that last possible, you know, like little extra bump in damage if we need it. All right, cool. I have everything crafted now. Whee! Let's see what that time was. That was really good.
4:10?
Yeah, 4:10 sounds right. Nope, sub 4.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Sub 4 is like the dream. Sub 4 is always really good, but it's just really hard to achieve because you have to like keep your lock the entire time. Especially with the Gyros getting involved there and me getting a para, it just made it like a little strange.
Yep. A little optimization here. We talked to the huntsman on the way into our room, which then lets us fast travel to the workshop where there's a quest board to post our last guy.
Silly optimization. All right. Hardest fight in the game. Hands down.
The thresholds are simple, the execution is not. This fight also has easily the hardest opener in the game. There's like a probably like 0.2 second window to hit all your inputs correctly.
And one of the worst visual cues in the entire game to try to figure out if you start your thing. So I don't even use that. I just go off of vibes.
Yep.
I'm going to be very quiet for this.
Yep.
Not out of the woods yet? Oh, okay, we're good.
Huge.
Massive. Right side and the best positioning. We are so good here.
Yep, so tenderize, that roar, give us an opening to back hop and mount. No, we're not. We're dropping it again. Mounts are slow, flashes are fast.
Don't forget that. There'll be a quiz later. Oh, goodness, you are so far away.
He should flash flail right as he's coming out of this clagger, which will let us hit the head. Nice. And now this is the goal. Alternate between topples and claggers. Topples are very consistent to chain into a clagger. Claggers are very difficult to chain into a topple.
Talk about the unevenness of the arena, because I'm getting screwed by it right now.
Yeah, you may notice Teostra's on a hill right now, which means most of our attacks are missing. It also means when you drop off of a clagger, it takes you longer to hit the ground, which means you have less time to actually fit in your PR before he has the chance to do something else.
This is better.
Yeah. The long fall also makes it easier to accidentally buffer your back hop to start your PR. which you would think is a good thing because you're starting it as fast as possible. But for whatever reason, if you buffer your back hop, it turns you 180 degrees. So we don't want that.
Thank you for being kind.
Oh, beautiful. He's not out of bounds. Barely.
Barely. Oh, thank goodness.
That was textbook Teostra.
That is not easy to do. This is also one of those fights where a single mistake can result in either a 10-second time loss or a 2-minute time loss. Like it's one or the other. The entire arena, Green just mentioned it, like his head wasn't out of bounds. This entire monster can just be out of bounds. And he can sprint past us. He can just be out of bounds. I've gotten claggers out of bounds. You can get topples out of bounds. You can flash him out of bounds. He can be out of bounds. You can't. Dude loves the lava. He loves that little warm bath. But we cannot be there for it. So, yeah, holding him in that position and keeping him there, like his positioning after a clagger is the thing that is the most variable that he can do. And that's what causes the most heartache, especially with the design of this arena. So it's what? Oh, it's definitely one of the harder aspects of this fight. Oh yeah, sub 3 feels good.
Oh yeah.
Man, if only we didn't lose 2 minutes to. Actually, no, it's probably a good thing that we did that because I was showing off Hog and a Frog no matter what, and that loses a minute. So it's probably a good thing that we lost 2 minutes to Jyuratodus earlier. But honestly, this run's been fire.
Yeah. And now a fight that is by no means easy, but compared to the last 3, feels pretty definitely easier.
Yeah, this it's funny because like this quest feels so much easier, even though it is probably like one of the harder fights to do, because this is not only timing and execution, it's also positioning. Every skill that you need in this game comes into play on this quest. It is disgusting.
One of the few quests we eat on. The canteen does actually give enough of an attack boost now for it to be worth eating. The only reason we didn't on Nergigante, Kushala, and Teostra is because the canteen on their map is so far away from the direction you need to go, it's just not worth going to. It's like it takes like 14 seconds just to get to the canteen and back, not even including the time it takes you to actually eat. But we have the cat back now, which does mean we're dealing with cat AI, but unfortunately the poison and healing he gives us is worth it. So starting out, we're just trying to get Xeno under this rock. Beautiful. Using this flinch, we can claw, uppercut, and tenderize. We don't care about the ammo here, we just want this arm tenderized.
Ow.
Now we just need to do some normal slashes on the arm until we get our first topple, and then we can try to get a lock going. Perfect. One extra hit, very important, but only on the first topple. And this will get our lock going. Now we are just going to Slinger Burst into a PR. We have to rush the first 2 bits of these PRs. We don't have time to time them.
That's unfortunate. The angle of his body pushed me into his chest, so I get a chest hit instead, so we will likely see super crit. That happens 1 in 100. It also means we lose the lock because the damage didn't go into the arm. And you can see like the chest is glowing now. That the state that we end up entering is called super critical. Hello? Maybe I should have whiffed that. I'm like, what, 6 hits away now? 8?
You're like 400 damage away.
400, yeah, okay, so like a lot. Not that. So that's phase 1 of the fight. We now transition into phase 2. This is where it really picks up.
Yep. It does mean you can just claw Uppercut Tenderize very safely here, though.
Very true. Brother. Never punished.
It's unenraged here, which means this topple will last longer, so we can actually fit in a timed PR, which is nice. And now it's enraged again, so we cry. Forward step is annoying. It almost always means we miss the lock, but he also almost always changes it into this attack, which lets us consistently land a PR finisher to get the lock back.
Rushed it. Yeah, that was hopeful. All right, well, we get to stand here and wait for a bit.
Yippee!
JalBagel special.
Nice. And time is going to end when this thing dies. Unfortunately, we don't really have a way to know. It's just going to happen, but...
It is coming up, though.
Yeah, probably within 2 or 3 PRs. Unenraged again means we can get a full timed PR in here.
Nice. And time. Yippee! And that's it. That is Monster Hunter World Any %, brand new game all the way to the end of the high rank experience, ending with Xeno'jiiva. This is a base game speedrun. There's actually more game after this too, so this looks like something that you'd enjoy. There's a whole other expansion behind this too that is like twice as long as this, and it's super cool. Just a time check really quick. 2:24 in-game time comes out to a 2:29:51 real time, which is exactly where I want to be. It's still within my comfortable estimate. You can kind of see a lot of things that can go wrong will go wrong in this game, unfortunately, and so having that like little bit of a buffer in there, it just helps out. Plus, like, it's all high execution, right? Like it's all big high execution stuff, so it's nice to have that little bit of a buffer in a marathon setting. But yeah, that's Monster Hunter World Any %. I really do hope you guys consider this for your marathon, and I hope that we get to showcase this off. I'm always very excited to showcase off Monster Hunter games, just like in general, right? Once again, estimate was 2 hours 35 minutes, and we're looking at doing a couple of incentives with it. The Hunter and Palico names bid war, separate bid war for each of them, the Dota Gamma rock drop bid war, and then of course the Hog and a Frog mid-run incentive, which I'm just saying, Hog and a Frog is goated. Green, thank you for joining me. GreenSpeed is the current world record holder, and is so incredibly knowledgeable and just so much better at this game than I am.
Hold on.
No, but Green's always been fantastic. Pushing me to hit new boundaries. I would have stopped at 240 if Green didn't start running this game, which is really funny to think about. That's, 20 minutes slower than what world record is right now. But yeah, thank you, Green. I appreciate you hopping in and helping me out with this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so everyone, thank you guys too for hanging out in chat, and hope to see you at the next event. Bye everyone.
Bye.